arrival of warm weather and the beautiful season, our body requires a completely different type of diet compared to autumn-winter. So what should we do now? Is it right to change our eating habits at the table? And what should we be careful about to avoid making mistakes? We discuss this and much more with Dr. Alvise Cavaliere, a biologist and nutritionist.
Do diets change when at the sea or in the mountains?
The concept of diet is consistently discussed in terms of being a holistic lifestyle encompassing physical activity and nutrition. The balance between calories and nutrients consumed and expended is dependent on the type of lifestyle a person leads. Different individuals have varying perspectives on what a vacation entails. Some people view vacations as an opportunity for complete relaxation and can't envision engaging in anything other than activities that are typically impossible during their daily routines. This includes allocating extra time for rest, such as waking up later in the morning, indulging in leisurely meals, always considering proper nutrition, and so forth. Therefore, it is crucial to comprehend the nature of the vacation we are embarking upon. If the vacation is of this type, the focus will be on the aspect of relaxation and unwinding mental and physical well-being the person will achieve. From a health perspective, if the vacation doesn't involve high energy expenditure, our diet at the table should not be excessive or overindulgent. We should not overindulge, thus maintaining a balanced diet, especially if we are at the beach or in the mountains where the environment is different. The favorable weather, being warm and so on, does not lead us to overeat, ensuring we maintain a balanced and healthy diet. In these particular situations, the diet must be extremely hydrating, as they say, where not only liquids but also foods that contain water should be more prevalent on our dining tables. Of course, we must also keep an eye on the caloric aspect that comes from carbohydrates, which is deeply rooted in our culinary culture. Therefore, first courses can make their appearance, perhaps served cold, precisely to address the issue of heat. The protein intake should still be present, so you can prepare a pasta with, how can I put it, a tuna ragu, a cold pasta, or even a cold rice dish with protein inserts that can also come from certain cheeses and so on. All this while also keeping an eye on the calorie count, which, as you know, is always very important. Additionally, because in these situations, sometimes a vacation can be quite beneficial for a kind of remise en forme, which means we manage to move around enough, even if just a little bit, to perhaps lose a few pounds that we put on during the winter season. You know that we don't gain weight from Christmas to New Year's, but rather from New Year's to Christmas. So if we can also take those remedies during the summer that can help us shed a few pounds that we've accumulated, everything works out perfectly. Certainly from this point of view, the aspect of mental and psychic refreshment is important, so during these holidays we should dedicate ourselves to what we truly enjoy doing. If we like to have a relaxing vacation, we should take that kind of vacation, right? It's a different story for those who see the holiday as an opportunity to engage in all those physical activities also that generally, due to time constraints or other reasons, cannot be done during the winter period. And so, here comes the vacation. The special moment when we can finally do what life naturally leads us to do. If we are far away from the work environment, we probably live as we would have lived 100,000 years ago, engaging in activities that we enjoy. Some people might find pleasure in going fishing, while others might prefer hunting, and still others might engage in physical activities that were once dedicated to hunting and gathering. These activities have now evolved into what we know in modern terms as sports. Thus, they might dedicate themselves to structured sports activities like cycling or playing tennis matches and so on. Here, then, is an aspect of the vacation seen and experienced in a playful manner, just as I have described to you. From a nutritional perspective, it requires very different contributions. If I, during this vacation, where physical activity significantly increases compared to regular work days, it leads to a substantial expenditure of energy, right? It could once again be a genuine way to attempt to lose weight. Maintaining a slight energy deficit and combining physical activity with a light, low-calorie diet can help us lose 3 or 4 pounds during vacation. This helps prepare us for the upcoming winter season and the inevitable mistakes that can lead to weight fluctuations. However, we always find a way to reset and avoid accumulating pounds over the years. After 10 years, instead of gaining 10 extra pounds, we may only have 2, which is considered normal. By adopting a balanced approach to diet and exercise, we can achieve sustainable weight management and overall well-being. Remember that small, consistent efforts yield significant long-term results. So, let's focus on making healthier choices and staying active throughout the year to maintain a healthy weight and lifestyle. Therefore, the significance of these vacations is that there is mental relaxation and physical relaxation. Everyone experiences it in their own unique way. Clearly, if we engage in activities, we must be careful to also introduce the right amount of calories. From a nutritional standpoint, we obviously need to include carbohydrates, proteins, and fats in the correct quantity. So a good breakfast is important, fruit for snacks, pasta at noon with a possibly protein-rich sauce, and vegetables always present. In the evening, we might allow ourselves something like fish, meat, or other options with some fruit and a slice of watermelon if you like at the end.
How many hours of physical activity are recommended at the beach and in the mountains?
It's quite subjective, isn't it? In the sense that, first and foremost, the primary rule is the gradual progression of the activity we engage in. We can't just dive headfirst into an activity that we haven't practiced for a year. Graduality is essential. We need to approach the water in an intelligent manner, and if we're overheated, we must take it very slowly to avoid hydrofusion syndrome, right? These are the shocks that cause us to lose consciousness, but we lose consciousness in the water, so we must exercise a great deal of caution when approaching the water. On average, water is significantly colder than the surrounding environment. As a result, encountering issues when diving in is not uncommon. Therefore, it is crucial not to jump in when overheated. Instead, we should enter the water slowly to allow ourselves to adjust properly. It takes time for our bodies to acclimate to the water temperature. Once adjusted, we can stay in the water for as long as we desire. However, if we start feeling cold, it is advisable to leave the water. Feeling cold suggests that our bodies are struggling to maintain thermal balance, and it's best to exit the water and warm up. Graduality is essential because the aquatic environment can indeed be hazardous. Therefore, it is necessary, I won't say to have extensive preparation, but to be fully aware of our limitations and what we are doing. We must be cautious when the sea is in somewhat dangerous conditions with waves and so on, because if we move away, we also need to be able to return safely. Many times there are outgoing currents that, instead of bringing us closer, carry us outward into the open sea. So pay a lot of attention, proceed very gradually, always inform what you intend to do if there is someone staying on the shore, and from a physical preparation standpoint, obviously be in good shape with everything. The duration of time is highly subjective. I can remain in the water for an hour, train for 2 hours, and enjoy the refreshing coolness without any negative effects. When it comes to the mountains, it's quite similar. Hiking trips are still a certain physical challenge for the body, and one must be adequately prepared to undertake these walks. So, even in this case, the principle of graduality and possibly recovery is in effect. After taking a hike, let's make sure not to overdo it, because the vacation should provide those assurances of psychophysical recovery. If we exhaust ourselves during the vacation, we return to work feeling more tired than before. But perhaps we are happy because what we were seeking from this vacation was exactly this sort of remise en forme from a physical perspective, to measure ourselves against our abilities that can either improve or deteriorate year by year, and thus take stock of our overall psychophysical condition, in short.
Tips for staying hydrated in hot summers?
Nevertheless, the guideline here is quite comprehensive. Let's say the most effective method to assess our level of hydration is, as we have elaborated in previous videos, by observing the color of our urine. If the hue remains mostly clear, it signals that we are adequately hydrated. But if it begins to transition into a darker yellow or even orange, it indicates that we are already suffering from dehydration and our cells are undoubtedly experiencing some degree of detriment. How much should one drink? Well, it is often said 1 liter of water for every 1,000 calories consumed. So, if on vacation we typically eat around 2,000 calories, at least 2 liters of water are obviously necessary. However, this can vary greatly because if we play a 2-hour volleyball game under the sun, it is clear that the amount of water needed can double. Thus, we might need up to 4 liters because every 20 minutes you should drink even during the game. And so here's the crucial thing. We need to check the color of our urine and also pay attention to how we feel. Thirst, luckily, has a built-in warning signal. It's a kind of alarm bell, so when we feel thirsty, we absolutely must drink, right? Without becoming obsessive about it, of course, because drinking too much isn't good either. So, let's try to stay well hydrated, and if we feel overheated, obviously we should get into the shade and hydrate a bit more.
Is it possible for us to drink water or perhaps other beverages too?
But water is definitely essential, and sparkling water can also be an option if you don't enjoy plain water, right? I wouldn't recommend sugary drinks because they are more like consuming food rather than just hydrating your body. And then everything that originates from hydrated foods, fruits primarily because they contain intracellular water, should be considered very good water enriched with minerals and all the essential substances found in these foods. Mother Nature provides these to us precisely during the period when we can benefit the most from them.